Give it up for my man, Gage Von Wyl. Here we go.
Hello.
What's up, Gage? Oh, let me
Hey,
fix you.
what's
What's up, Gage? We do
How's
it
it going?
live. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Great, dude. We're happy you're joining us. Thanks for hanging.
Yeah, happy to be here.
We've been wanting to get you on for a while. Let me give you a proper introduction here, because this will be the clip here. All right. Here we go. Ready? Let me get ready. Give it up for my man, Gage Von fucking Wyl. Yeah. What's up, bro? There we go. That's what you deserve, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
and it
you.
says Frank G down here. I'm a mess. All right. So how you doing, man? Everything cool?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
All right, good, man. Thanks for joining us. We've been trying to get you on for a minute. You hit us up a while ago. We know you've been listening for a while. You joined us in the chat many times, so people who listen have probably heard your name.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just a down ass fucking cool juggalo.
I mean, speaking of names, that's a cool ass name.
is that
I like that.
is that spelled right, Gage Von Wyl?
Yeah, that's right. And you're pronouncing it right. They're going through school. So many people said Von Wyl.
Ah.
Used to like Von Wyl and shit like that. But yeah, you got it right. And yeah, I was told I got a rock star name.
That is
yeah.
true. That's cool. That's a cool ass name. I think honestly, I only know how to pronounce it because I've heard Shaggy pronounce it a few times.
Yeah, and he also, I was surprised, was able to get it like on point.
Hey, wait. Why would you be surprised? What are you trying to say there? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I've had like grown ass teachers with like degrees and shit not able to pronounce it. But I mean, it's a weird looking name, so like I don't know.
So what's up, Gage? Where are you from?
I'm from Delroy or Carrollton, Ohio. I'm Ohio local too.
Oh, nice.
You guys know where Canton is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like maybe like a half hour from Canton. It's like a small little town, whatnot.
Okay.
Delroy's like a blink and you miss it town. But then I went to school in Carrollton, which is like a slightly bigger rural town. It's like I don't want to call it a city, but there's like hotels and restaurants, so it's like a micro city, I guess you could call it. There's schools and shit there.
Okay.
Nice.
So you're a small town Ohio guy. We're Ohio guys. I mean, we're definitely not small town, I guess. Columbus is pretty big, but we grew up in like a small. Where we grew up is a little bit of a small town environment here, like on the outskirts of the city. So I mean, I guess like we can relate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You probably, I'm gonna guess. I mean, how does the Juggalo how does Juggalo shit get to the rural small town Ohio?
I don't know. It's weird. It's like where I'm from, I think there's a lot of like juggalos and people who just like rap music in general where we're at. But I didn't know a lot of juggalos, but there was this one like group, this whole family of siblings were super into it, and that's kind of how I got into it myself. There was this girl I would hang out with in middle school. Middle school is when I started listening to them. And I was always aware of ICP, just like going to like music stores and stuff. Like my dad and I have always listened to music. I've been listening to like metal and stuff since I was 4. So I was like always aware of ICP going into like music stores and stuff. But I had this friend in high school, and her and all her brothers were juggalos. And she said, "Oh, I got this Boogie Woogie Woo song stuck in my head." I'm like, "Oh, that's ICP. I should check that out." And I've never listened to rap at all.
Okay.
Never a rap guy. In fact, my dad hates rap, and so I just kind of like followed his lead. I'm like, "Yeah, rap's not very good. It's whatever." And so I was like, "Well, I'll check out this ICP thing because this girl I want to be friends with is into it, so I'll check it out." And I listened to it, and I was like, "Wow, this is kind of awesome." And so I actually got into it. So it's Boogie Woogie Woo was like one of the first actual songs I listened to it. I got into ICP around Bang Pow Boom coming out. I was in middle school.
Interesting. Okay. So how old does that put you? Early 30s, right?
Like 24.
24. Oh, way up. All right.
Yeah,
Man, with the beard, I've had a big beard. With the big beard, you could be 24 or 34. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if I get rid of this, I look like I'm 16, but with it, yeah, I look like I'm 30.
I know the
I look
feeling.
super old. Yeah.
So you got into a brown bag pop boom. So how old were you then?
I was like 12 or 13.
Okay, interesting. So you and I, believe it or not, like it's a similar story. Like my first song I heard was Boogie Woogie Woo. I was 14, so it kind of it's interesting how that like kind of has permeated us there. Like what is that?
And it's funny because I've heard like a lot of like other juggalos telling their stories and you guys and whatnot. And it's weird how I guess I'm new school because I got in on the first deck, but Great Milenko is what got me into it because my sister's boyfriend, I was like, hey, do you know ICP? I've heard a couple of their songs like on YouTube and stuff. And he gave me the Great Milenko. And that just blew my mind. I was like, I didn't know that rap music could have stories and have like metal guitars and like shit like that. And it
Yeah.
was awesome. Just I was blown away. And so it was Great Milenko and then Bang Pow Boom were kind of like my introductions.
I've always wondered what it would be like to know of ICP existing, but not really be listening to them because I'd never had that. As soon as I basically heard them, and I'd never heard them before,
Yeah. I think when you're a young kid, though, I mean, especially if he was 13 or so, like, I mean, I'm speaking for myself. Like, before that, like, I never once even, like, cared about music. Like, it was just, like, on. And then, like, one day I, like, started paying attention to, like, the band that was actually making this music. And then, literally, like, within 2 months of me knowing that music was kind of cool, I found ICP. You know, like I never cared about any music prior to ICP. It was just like background noise.
It ruined you from there on out.
Yeah, I was fucking done for.
Yeah.
Was it kind of similar for you?
So like I always was into music. Like I'm like at that like there's like a weird like generation of kids around my age where like I remember MTV actually having music and I remember like VHSs and like all that shit.
Okay.
So like my sister was into all sorts of different music, so they'd have MTV on and like Disturbed would come on and my sister had Slipknot posters and my dad loves all the old rock music. So I've always been listening to music as since I was a kid. But it was around middle school where I was like buying my own CDs, getting into stuff, discovering my own bands, and um, ICP was like kind of like one of the first things that got me to like deep dive into
Yeah.
bands. Like, I
Same.
only listened to like a couple of things myself.
Like before ICP, like I think I'd only bought a couple CDs. It was I can name a couple of them. The first CD I ever bought was Keith Sweat. And I bought that because my cousin had it and he was so cool and like he would listen. I was like I'm cool. I'm listening to Keith Sweat. So then I really liked Wallflowers One Headlight. So I bought the Wallflowers CD.
Wallflower.
And then like after that it was ICP. Like there was
Wow. Keep Sweat, Wallflowers, ICP.
yeah, that was my trajectory.
That's funny.
I think I had I think I had Coolio Gangsta Paradise single in there somewhere.
I think everybody had that back then.
Yeah.
Oh God, actually, got my dad got it for me. Bought me System of a Down's Toxicity. That was
Nice.
the first CD I ever had.
Nice.
Mm.
Your dad's the
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. My parents were really supportive of it. Like my dad hates rap.
Yeah.
Like he said, it doesn't take any talent. And I'm like, well, that's like, can you rap? And he's like, well, no, but I bet if I could burp my ABCs, it would be just as impressive.
That's kind of
I
funny.
mean, I understand that train of thought because that's how I feel about today's rap.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I am too. Like the only rap I really listen to is like mostly underground stuff. There's ICP, Twisted, and like some of the psychopathic records adjacent
Sure.
people.
Sure.
And then there's like Low Key, AXE, super famous one time guys. It's all underground rap.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, my dad was supportive of me just being into music, even if he didn't like it. I even got him to watch the new ICP document. Was it the United States of Insanity?
Yeah,
just 'cause
yeah.
he likes music documentaries and shit.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
he's like, yeah, and he was like, I'll be honest with you, I was not looking forward to watching an Insane Clown Posse documentary, but that was super interesting. And he said that he watched it with me. He actually thought it was cool, and he appreciates the fact that like they had their background tracks, the music that they actually played, and like getting into where they came from and just were self-made,
Hell yeah, dude.
basically.
Did
Yeah, and
So I was gonna ask, like, with your dad being like supportive. I mean, I had a similar like supportive dad, like when it comes to Juggalo shit. My dad started taking me to shows and shit. Did your dad ever do that, or did you ever go that far?
so I've never actually been. I haven't been to a lot of concerts. I've never seen ICP live, so that's on my bucket list.
Mm.
I only recently started going to concerts once I graduated high school,
Okay.
and I graduated class of 2016. The first concert I went to, and my wife's family, they're super into going to concerts, so I would go with them.
Okay.
So I always tried to go to like shows in middle school and stuff, and like high school, and it never really worked out. But once I was kind of more an independent adult, we started going.
Okay.
My dad said he'd go to the gathering with me if I
Nice.
decided to go, and he would. So there's that. So
Hell yeah, dude.
he doesn't like the music, but he's supportive enough, and he's just cool hanging out with me, and he might get a kick out of it. And actually, a lot of my wife's family, I'm like the only Juggalo, and like they're aware of ICP. Like my wife's dad he listens to everything, and he wrote My Buddy on his axe, so they're kind of into it. Like that's the song I want to listen to it, but they all said they would go. So like nobody I know really listens to it, but everybody's very supportive of it, and they would go to shows with me if I wanted to. So that's the game plan for this year, hopefully.
That's pretty cool, man.
The Gathering.
Yeah,
Game plan to go to the Gathering.
I'd like to. I'm honestly intimidated by it because I've never been to anything like that. But I'd like to go if the everything aligns up perfectly.
Oh, bro, you're gonna feel right at home, man. I mean, I highly recommend it. Don't worry, it'll be cool, man. It's gonna be great.
Don't be intimidated.
We'll be there. We'll be there to help you, man. We'll guide you.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And that's kind of the stuff I've gotten is like jumping into like the chat of this show or doing like Shaggy and the Creep stuff and whatnot. And what a good time it is to be into this stuff because of all the social media stuff and everybody's like doing shows and whatnot.
You'll have like a built-in friend base already like there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen a lot of people like commenting and saying like, "Oh, I'm afraid to go to the gathering." And everybody's like, "Just go."
Yeah.
You know, it's just chill people. And everything I've seen, I'm like, I think I could go for that. I've got really bad social anxiety, so like just normal like crowds in general are kind of hard to deal with. But I feel like that would be a different atmosphere. A lot of like-minded people. And whatnot.
Hey, I'll tell you what. My brother's first gathering was last year, and he's kind of the same way. He has real bad social anxiety, and but he went last year, and he was fine with it. You know, he didn't really affect him too much. I mean, he had fun, and I've developed a pretty bad social anxiety as I've gotten older. When I was younger, it wasn't a bad thing, but as I've gotten older, it's pretty bad now. But I mean, I'm telling you, gathering is one of the only places that doesn't really kick in. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, dude. You just, I mean, especially if you haven't been to a show too. Like I understand I mean, I'm sure you've heard it and you've heard people talk about it and you know everything, but everyone just feels like your friend. Like it truly is like like no matter what, like it just is that way, and you'll feel it instantly, and it's so nice, man. It's like it's the best. It really is.
It's definitely a vibe that I don't know. It's not that combative kind of vibe you get out in normal crowds and everybody's competing.
Yeah,
and,
man.
You know, it's like that monkey brain. Everybody's kind of competing, and you know, at any moment's notice, something bad could happen. And it doesn't really feel or seem like that there.
It's like a Juggalo safe space, literally.
Yeah,
It's like dark carnival magic.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. We'd love to hear it, man. We hope you can make it out because we're going to do our damnedest to be there. And I mean, it was funny. Like my friend came over the other day, Paula, and she was like, "Kyle, are you going to the gathering?" I was like, "Yeah," and like without hesitation. And my wife was like, "Oh, are you?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fucking going to the gathering. Don't you fucking say shit."
I'm going, man. And I almost was pissed off because you probably could have walked in last year.
I know. I'm gonna buy a ticket. I'm gonna do it. I'm not missing it. I'm gonna buy a ticket so I don't have an excuse not to go.
Especially in the evenings because they were checking. There was like a guy standing there, and like they were checking as you were walking through. But like when we went through during the evening, like they didn't even look, man.
Really?
Could have just like walked right through.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I won't count on it. I'm definitely, like I said, I'm buying a ticket so I cannot not go. You know.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, if I can,
We
if I
can't
can
wait.
get off work and I can get babysitter and I can get people to go with me. I think that's the plan. I'm gonna go do it.
That's too many ifs, bro. You just got to get your fucking
I
ticket.
It's that social anxiety talking. It's like, well, if I do this, if I do that, then maybe it'll work out. I just need to just do the damn thing,
Yeah,
right?
bro. Yeah, man, for sure, man. I mean, you get your dad and your wife. Fucking how many kids you got?
I got 2 kids. I got a son. He's going to turn 3 this month or this year, and then my daughter just turned 1.
Okay,
the little one.
Yeah, you got little kids. I get it. That is a little
I got a little
trickier.
one.
Oh yeah, man. I hope you can make that work because I know that is tricky, and I hope you have a supportive family. Somebody that could just be like, hey, just for the weekend, man. Like even if you got to leave early on Sunday or whatever, you know what I mean. Like God forbid you miss one of the better shows or something, but if you can just get there and be there for at least a day or two, man, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, if nothing else, just to see ICP because I have never seen them live.
Yes.
And with Jay's health and whatnot, I'm like, I gotta cross off the bucket list. That's an experience I need.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. So if you can get it, even if you have crippling anxiety, I would still try to just get that one experience in at least.
Yeah, for me, it's like the thought of doing stuff once I'm there. In general, once I'm thrown into a situation, I'm usually okay after a while. So I think that's something I'll be all right with, especially if I got.
Tony, that's exactly how my brother is.
Yeah,
it's exactly
it's
how.
more of a thought process. Once I get there and I'm good, I'm good.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let loose.
Yeah, he kept saying that thing. He's like, "So are we going, man? Like, are we?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, we're going." All right, well, blah blah blah. I'm just like, dude, we'll go. It's no big deal. It's like we'll go, and what I mean. He had, he was that whole way that what I mean, leading up to it. And when we got there, he was fine.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So let's think. So Gage, you haven't been to shows. You haven't gone to the gatherings. You've been down for what? Shit. At this point, it's been 15 years or so. Well, 10,
Like that, yeah.
10, 11, 12 years, something like that.
The Tempest just turned, 15?
Yeah.
And it was a little bit after that, so yeah, about 14 years.
Okay. So yeah, man. I mean, that's a pretty long fucking stretch. So, you're probably in a similar mind state. Did you?
Sorry. There you go, my dog.
It's all right, man. Go.
Moxie, hey.
Foxy?
Moxie.
I
got a little beagle and I got an Irish wolfhound.
Oh, beagles, they won't shut the fuck up.
No, yeah. If she sees she's usually like chill, but if she sees like a bird or she hears a car, it's yep time.
What was I saying? I was saying like you've been down for a while. I was gonna ask like, since you got down around then, have you been like in the thick of it this entire time, or like were you in the shit as they say this whole time, or did you take any lulls?
There was a break. So when I got into it, I was like super into it. I was like, I gotta listen to all the Joker cards. I love the story, I love the lore. I need to find everything it was about. And I only listened to the Joker cards. So when you guys cover like a Forgotten Freshness or like one of the sideshow EPs, it's exciting for me because I didn't experience like most of their albums other than Joker cards because I was like, this is the main stuff. I gotta get into it. I didn't even know half the stuff you guys cover existed. So I was super into it, and around I think 2014, I was, for me it was 2015. I never was in it for Lost. I was never in for the Missing Link.
Okay.
So around that time, and it seems like I dodged a bullet because
I was out at that time too.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I was not paying attention.
So I was super into all the Joker's cards. I had all of them at one point. I had like 2 versions of the Mighty Death Pop. I had like the Amazing Juggalo Brothers, like the orange case and like all the cool shit like that. Because I like to collect things. So like on top of them being albums I want to get into, I like to collect crap, and ICP is good at feeding into people liking to collect stuff. So
Oh yeah.
I have all that. So around, I'd say like 2014, 2015, I struggle with mental health and whatnot, and I was getting kind of like depressed, and I had anger issues and whatnot, and I'm like, I listen to music about murder, and I listen to angry metal music, and I need to start kind of being mature and growing up and whatnot. I'm gonna be graduating and need a job, so I kind of stopped listening to music almost entirely. So I kind of fell off of just music in general. So I sold a lot of my CDs, all my Joker's cards, all my ICP albums. I still have some of my stuff. Like I got some Twisted albums still and whatnot. For whatever reason, I decided Twisted's fine time. Um, and then, which when I got into Twisted, I got into it with Abomination. So I like most of Twisted's new school stuff,
Sure.
oddly enough. So I fell out of music in general around then. And then where I work at now, this is 2019. I work at a machine shop. I make fin tubing and whatnot. My job is very slow and like boring. So I started listening to music again, started listening to podcasts and whatnot. And I was feeling nostalgic one day. I'm like, I'm gonna put on the Great Malenko. I think I need that in my life right now. So I put on the Great Malenko, and it just brought everything right back. I'm like, all right, this is great. So then I started listening to ICP, and then that was around the time like I need to see what they've been up to all this time.
Okay.
And so I saw Fearless Fred. There was this Ouija Mac guy. Twisted was like doing their own thing, and there was a big split. I completely like missed Marvelous Missing Link. I'm like, oh, I missed actually a lot of stuff. So I got caught back up. And then I like listening to podcasts about like other things I'm into.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to start deep diving into this stuff. Your podcast was suggested to me on Spotify. So I was like hooked on that. I watched
Thanks,
all your
Spotify.
episodes and whatnot. Yeah. Spotify has a good algorithm. I've discovered so much cool shit on Spotify because of that.
Hell yeah.
So I was never like into it then like I am now. Like I would have never seen myself being on the Juggalo podcast or watching Shaggy and the Creep and getting shout outs and stuff and whatnot. So yeah, now I'd say I'm like in it now.
You're in the shit again.
I'm in the shit now. Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. It's a pretty similar trajectory. I mean, I will say, like, I was gonna ask, like, you said you were feeling kind of down in the dumps, like probably around the Lost time. So that probably was a good time not to be into ICP. But I was gonna ask your opinion on Found, because I thought Found like really filled me with like hope that I hadn't felt like since Shangri-La, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was thinking about that because I wasn't there for the unveiling, but like listening to all those Joker's cards and listening to the raid, I feel like I still got that like emotional payoff. And it like I'll still listen to the by unveiling and like get emotional and like really good positive energy. When I went back and listened to Found, I was like,
Okay.
right. But listening to Lost, I was kind of whatever on it. But listening to Found is probably one of my favorite ICP songs. Like that gets me so emotional and like good feelings and positive. And
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm there. Like I think Found is definitely the better of them. And I think that. So I kind of been thinking about this a lot. Where you've listened to the outtakes on Marvelous Missing Link?
I've only listened to that maybe once or twice. I don't remember any of it personally.
Yeah, me neither.
There's a lot of songs on the outtakes that are better than any of the other two albums.
I need to revisit that.
I've heard people say that.
Yeah, to me, like the outtakes is almost a Joker's card. If they would have like focused more on like quality over quantity and like combined the albums into one, like I don't know, super album or something, I think it would have been really good. And I kind of feel similar about Yum Yum and Fred, where it's like you got this one Joker's card with like 5 albums with a bunch of just kind of hit and miss songs. If they would have just combined it all into one great album, it would have been great. But I kind of derailed from the question. But yeah, I'd say like Found is definitely great and a good, positive, good feeling type of thing. And like I'll listen to Found, the that's the intro track on it, right?
Yeah.
Like that almost makes me want to cry because it's just so.
I know. I can't.
They do such a good job of just great feelings and positivity on that song.
I'm looking forward to revisiting that album because I know I mean, you and I haven't even talked about either of those albums very much, but I do have strong feelings about Found specifically. Yeah. I'm looking forward to talking about it, but
I honestly really don't have any connection or memories with those albums.
Yeah.
I had a burnt copy of Lost. I might have listened to it twice.
I would credit Found with getting me kind of back into ICP at the time.
Yeah, so I need to really revisit and deep dive those albums. I don't remember really liking Lost, but I mean everybody's talking about Found.
Lost has a couple bangers, but it's fairly forgettable. But yeah.
So when we review that, I'm definitely going to lead up to that review and deep dive that album.
Hell yeah, man. I was gonna ask too. So you have similar opinions on some of these albums as we do, and I wanted to bring this up. I don't want to put you on the spot, Gage, but did you listen to the new Fallen Angelic Ouija Mac album, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like me and Carver were sitting here listening to it yesterday, and like I just like I turned to him. I was like, I don't get it, man. Like, and I'm not trying to like sit here. Like I said, I'm not trying to put either of you on the spot. We didn't even talk about talking about Ouija Mac, but like I've listened to the album like 3 times in a row because I'm like, what is it? I saw people posted like, this album's so amazing, it's great. I see everybody like, it's incredible, Ouija's best work, yada yada. You did it again, Ouija Mac. And like I listened to it, I'm like, what in the fuck are y'all hearing?
Yeah. Yeah, so anytime ICP had, well, I guess at the time they already had all those artists, I would try and like deep dive into all of them. And I was excited when Big Hoodoo came out. I got his album around the release time.
Yeah.
And then, which when I came back, I'm like, oh, I bet Hoodoo has all sorts of new albums. I bet he's got all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
why ain't Hoodoo releasing music as often as fucking Ouija Mac, bro?
I wish he did. Yeah, that would be great.
God damn.
It's harder to do it. I mean, honestly, that's why Ouija Mac's music is just easier to make. It really is.
Yeah.
It's just I've done some production. I've done some, engineering and recording and things like that. I'm not.
You could just puke out Ouija Mac songs like 10 at a time. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's just easier to rap his rap style. Like everything's on every snare and the beats are all similarly laid out. There's not really any live instrumentation in none of them.
Yeah.
It's all sample based stuff.
Like
and
Devereaux's
808s
Devereaux's a good producer. Like he makes some slappers, but like it's Ouija Mac's like I don't understand. Maybe I'm just an old juggler, and I'm not trying to gatekeep, and I'm not trying to do any of that. And this is why I struggle to talk about this kind of shit, because I don't want to seem like a disgruntled juggler. It's not my way anymore. It's not like that. It's more like I want to know. I want to be in. I want to think he's good and cool. I just feel like I'm missing out, and I'm like, what the fuck is it? What is it?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, Psychopathic has this new guy. I'm going to jump in. And like, I've listened to probably 3 of his albums. And I was just like, this is exactly what I don't like about most rap music.
Yeah. Me and Carver came to the conclusion it's Juggalo music made for kids who like mainstream shit. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was like number 5 on iTunes there for a minute. He like posted on his Instagram.
Yeah, something like that. I think that iTunes does that shit on purpose too. By the way, this is a side tangent. I think they literally do it on purpose to like make people post and share that shit. Like when you release a new album, it's gonna be number 1 for like an hour.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, they get that spike in the algorithm or whatever. But
I know I know this is controversial opinions, and I don't want Ouija Mac Juggalos to hate me. I really don't.
No, I'm with you guys. I'm like, I don't get it, and I feel bad because everybody seems to love him, and he seems like a really fucking cool dude. But like 90% of his music, I'm just like, this is annoying.
Annoying is a good word for it.
I will say,
yeah.
Listening to the album yesterday, there's a couple beats. I was like, okay, that bangs. I mean, there's definitely bass lines in those beats that are, you can hear that shit in a car, and you can imagine that shit banging and like. But to me, most of it was just background music, like getting high, talking to some chick or something, getting high, and it's just background music to me.
Every song is just lyrics. They're not even like, he's not doing anything. He's not having like crazy punchlines.
He's not a lyricist.
He's not a lyricist. But every song, what I mean is like every song, he's just like literally like puking out lyrics that the songs aren't cohesive. You know what I mean? Like Hellcat, like it's just a random song I thought of his new album. Like it's about nothing. It's just, which is fine. You can have those songs, but like every song on every album is like that, and it's just like
I'll say
they're all this. They all blend together and blur.
There's no like substance to it. There's
Yeah.
no story. There's no anything. And there are songs that I do like. Like I think his last album had like a handful. Like when they're really good, they're really good. But most of it is just.
I mean, he does put out a lot of music. It just seems like it's more quantity over quality, and I'm sure,
Exactly.
and that's how you gotta kind of do it to to get your money these days. I get it. I mean, and I see why people could gravitate towards him. You know, he's got a crazy image. He's got his personality seems like it's really people gravitate towards a personality like his.
Like he seems like a lovable, cool guy, and like I would love to hang out with Ouija Mac. Like I honestly, I would love to hang out with every Juggalo rapper even. But I'm not gonna like any of y'all's music.
Dude,
I'm gonna tell you that
just
now.
Face it, you're old. You're old. Just fucking face it.
I know, dude. Every
I'm not that old though. So what is it?
Dude, like
well, you came from the camp of not really liking hip hop, and that's kind of where I was. I think I got into hip hop around the Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg era, back in the day, when they were big, and then it was just because it was popular. Then Bone, I got into kind of Bone, but I was never a hip hop head. And then ICP's kind of really what got me into that shit. I was more of a metal guy and stuff too, as a kid, as like a real little kid, But I get the same way, man. Like it's just all hip hop throughout all the eras, like of mainstream hip hop. I've never really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout all the decades, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. I've never really liked the mainstream stuff, sounding stuff, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no, go ahead, man.
It just feels uncreative, and it's just noise. It's just the same 5 beats everybody uses. Everybody's singing and rapping about the same 5 things.
Like and like Carver said, like I think again, like you're an old Juggalo soul. I think is really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And like
New school with an old school vibe, I guess.
Get used to it. You don't get any younger.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I wish I thought that shit was cool. Like I wish genuinely like I listened to it and like it made me feel good. But I listened to it and I'm confused the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, why did he make this? Why is he making those noises? What is happening?
Like it sounds like mainstream rap with like the word Juggalo sprinkled in. Cause this motherfucker's rapping about like having money and stacks and like fuck 12 and like Balenciaga shoes and you know what I mean? Like, all right, man. Like,
it's definitely mainstream rap made for underground fans. Is exactly what you're saying. It's the cash money, drugs, fame, and there's Fago too.
Yeah, yeah. He's definitely bringing in a new breed of Juggalo. I think to the. I don't want to say movement because I don't think Juggalo is a movement. It's more of like a fucking shitty status. But
the Juggalo community is like a dimension.
Yeah,
it's like a dimension that's always there. You can come in and out of it. You can, you know what I mean? That's what I always kind of feel it is.
Yeah. So he's bringing like a lot of these like younger Gen Z like mainstream liking fans over. So I do appreciate him bringing them through the portal. You know what I mean? No matter which way it's happening, that's cool. Because I'm convinced and I truly believe that all these Juggalos that are Ouija Mac Juggalos are genuinely cool people. And I think they'll be fine at the gathering and I'll enjoy hanging out with them. Truly. I really do. But I just can't get behind the music is all. I can get behind it. I just can't find myself enjoying it.
Do you think that maybe there's old school like you guys, there's whatever I am, like Bang Pow Boom, that's like old new school, and now there's new school from like the March. It was like what 2017.
Yeah, there's like
there's probably a whole new wave of Juggalos that are like Fearless Fred was their Malenko.
Yeah,
and Ouija Mac is like their Twisted.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. I think that's exactly what's happening. Literally,
I was theorizing that a lot of these new Juggalos within the last 5 years, they probably don't even really like or listen to ICP. That
could be. Ouija Mac could be just breeding his own generation of Juggalos. And
they see the community.
Yeah.
they see the community and they understand that there's like a cool community in this, and then they find someone like Ouija and they're like, oh, okay, there's actually someone in there that sounds like the music I like, and they kind of come to the community and they realize ICP are like, you know, the thing of this community, but they don't really care to listen to the music. You know, kind of like how kids wear band shirts and they've never even listened to the band or something, you know, that kind of shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's more about like the culture and the image that they're attracted to, not necessarily the whole history and music, all the things to it.
Yeah, because these younger people can come into the Juggalo culture and they can kind of be themselves as a young person, act like a freak or whatever, and they're not going to be judged by the adults in this community so much as they would like another type of community. So I think that's very appealing to them. They can come in and kind of like, wow, we can talk about drugs and sex. I can smoke, you know what I mean? And like, we're not going to have these adults get, they don't care either. I mean, they're they're out there showing their asses and throwing shit,
Yeah,
so
it's still I think the goal of like creating a world for people who don't feel like they belong is still there, and it's just this younger generation that are coming in and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was like the big appeal to, I think, everybody's like, they're making music for me, and I don't really feel like I belong, but we belong to this this kind of style of thing. And I think that's exactly what's happening still with just younger, different groups of people and kids and whatnot. I think that's right. Yeah.
It's fluid,
I'm fine with it,
I'm fine with it too. It's just I'll try, and I will literally listen to every single Ouija Mac album ever. I really will, and I'm gonna try to like it. And I'm gonna be honest too. I'm not just gonna like it because it's psychopathic adjacent. You know what I mean? I'm beyond that. I feel it's okay to be critical while still being like okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, not that it's up to me to be okay with it. It's not like that. I mean, more along the lines of, I get that it's not for me. I'm all right.
I'm never gonna turn to somebody and be like, hey man, turn that Ouija shit off.
Right.
I'm not even gonna say that about Twisted. Like, hey, turn that shit off. I'm never gonna be like that. I don't.
See, we got some new generation juggalos in the chat. Just we're pissing them off.
I mean, it's.
I'm sorry. Hey, it's good that people like it. We don't have to. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Be like, hey man, that Ouija guy's cool, but I'm not gonna listen to his stuff. But I'm glad he's touching people's lives and stuff. Like, he's still doing positive things for the world.
Yep.
So like, I don't have to like his music. He seems cool. And it's good somebody likes it.
I like the man. I just don't give a shit about his music. That's the bottom line.
There might be something we're missing, because I haven't really deep dived into Ouija. Maybe he's got this past catalog that he has all these kind of things that he's talked about in his life, and the fans kind of know what he is and what he's been through.
And there's Ouija Mac lore somehow.
Yeah, but it's more of lore on him and his own psychology and his own personality and kind of what he's been through. As to where ICP have created this, like, they fabricated this
fantasy,
more
world.
of a fantasy lore, and it's not so much about them as it is. What they've created. Where Ouija, it's more about him as a person. It's
like
more
his psycho mind, and I
yeah, more people like diving into his mind because they, and it's something that they can relate to.
I get it,
kind of thing. I think that's how most of these younger rappers are nowadays. They want to bring you into their minds. They're screwed up, fucked up, crazy minds, and navigate you through them, and then try to come out, on top or something, right?
Like, maybe they make music obviously, but maybe it's more them trying to create like a vibe, than like a story or
that's exactly what it is. Like, I talked to my daughter. I have a daughter that's 15, all right, and like, she's getting into music and shit. Like, she's like a pretty typical, like, basic teenager, you know what I mean? Likes whatever's popular and shit like that. She's into Tyler the Creator. I don't know if you've ever listened to Tyler the Creator. He had some pretty.
I did when he first. I think he first came out around the Bang Pa Boom era.
Yeah,
and I didn't mind him back then.
He was okay, but now he's making like vibey, like R&B rap. You know what I mean? Which it's fine, whatever. I just know it's not for me. And like, my daughter keeps playing him for me. I'm just like, look, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. Like, I'm not into Tyler the Creator. Okay, you're not gonna play me a song that I'm gonna like. But she's told me, she's like, I was like, what? I've asked her, like, what is it that you like about this? I was like, the lyrics are not impressive. The beat is like an old like Clips NERD like shitty 3 noise beat. You know what I mean? I'm like, what is it about this? She's like, it's just like you just sit and listen. It's just like you vibe to it. That's all it is. The lyrics don't matter. The sound doesn't even really matter. Like the beat doesn't matter. It's just all of those combined just have to create something that you can like make TikTok dances to.
A lot of it,
Yeah.
a lot of it is the actual rapper that that people attract to as well.
Yeah, it's more about the person than
Yeah.
what they make and the vibe that they give off.
Yeah.
So, all right, man.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't mean to make this a Ouija hate fest or anything like that. I wasn't trying to bring you into our shit, Gage. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good.
I figured you'd be all right talking about it, but you know, I'm just just keeping it real. You know, we're just this is just our opinions. You know what I mean? Like y'all like what you like, we'll like what we like, and you know, we can all be a good old happy family.
Yeah, and it's there are still like things that how do I have formed this thought? Have you liked every single artist from Psychopathic and every single one of their albums?
No.
No,
Yeah,
of course
so-
not.
The stuff that like sounds like stuff that we like, we don't always necessarily like. So like it you know, like it's okay to be critical and not like things, even if it's like in your realms. Like it's not just this one specific guy we're targeting. It's like I'm not a big Boondocks fan. I've only listened to a couple ABK albums and whatnot. So it's like we don't have to like everything. And
Yeah.
It's not like we're just targeting this one guy. Like there's other stuff that I mean, even ICP, the big guys, they've had stuff that people are just like, like it's all right.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
all
I'm-
great points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's.
Yeah.
It's just.
You don't want to sound like a hater though, but you want to be real too. You
I mean,
know?
I don't even care if I sound
Yeah.
like a hater, but I'm really I don't really have any hate for Ouija or anything, but
It's like indifference. It's just like,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally just background
Not
music.
for me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just literally just background music to me that I'm okay with. I'm not going to like, freak out if it's on or anything,
Justin Manny had a great question. Do you think you could take Ouija? Think you could take it?
No. No.
I think Ouija would fuck me up.
He's not very tall. Seems
No.
very small.
I know I'm small
I don't
too.
know.
I definitely wouldn't fuck with him, but
I couldn't I can't take nobody. I'm fucking 40 years old. I ain't trying to get hurt.
Yeah.
it's funny. I thought that was funny.
I'll be able to, like maneuver around you better. I don't know.
Fuck.
My fighting days are over, Juggalo. So if you see me and want to beat me up, it's not going to be a challenge.
Fuck, that's funny. All right. Well, listen, Gage, we appreciate you hanging out and shitting on Ouija with us. Was there anything else you want to share or touch on before we let you go, man?
Yeah. So I should probably. So have you seen like Beneath the Dirt and DC Figure guy going on about Loki?
Going on about him. I've seen them posting about like their new music, but that's about it.
Yeah. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Loki real quick.
Okay.
So I recently listened to the Amazing Jekyll Brothers episode you guys did, and you did what was it? What is the last song in the album? I'm drawing a blank.
Nothing's left.
Nothing's left in your speech class or your what was it like a
It was a theater class.
theater class. Okay, I had theater classes too, and I did like a same thing with Low Key. So ICP like brought me in like the underground, and I listened to a lot more stuff than just Psychopathic Records. And Low Key's been making music for a long time. Did you guys listen to Tunnel Runners? It was like Hatchet House.
I remember when they released it. I never did listen to that though. Did you?
Yeah,
No.
so Low Key even has a song on that. He's been doing stuff a long time. You guys know about Mission Infect at all?
Heard of it? Not familiar with it.
All right. So I believe he created it and with a bunch of other people. But Low Key was like my ICP. Like I had all his albums and stickers and was obsessed with it. Got shirts. He makes masks. I started now that I have my own money and I'm a grown ass man. I buy a shit ton of his masks and whatnot. But he had a song off of his Shadowland album, which came out when I was getting into this stuff.
Is he from the UK by any chance? Is it the same?
I think he's from Philly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's from around here. He's Yeah, he's from Philly.
I'm
But yeah,
Googling
so-
a rapper right now because I kind of wanted to see, and it's saying he's from the UK.
Loki? It's Loki is Lokey.
Okay,
Yeah, so capital LO space capital KEY.
Right.
Okay, this one's LOW.
Yeah, I listen. He did a I actually went. I think he came across like my Spotify recommended or something like that, and I did listen. I never really. I've heard of him. Like, I mean, back in the day, I remember hearing the name Loki and like thrown around with underground artists and shit. I never gave him the time of day just because. I mean, quite frankly, I just never listened to anything that wasn't any Juggalo music, Juggalo adjacent music that wasn't psychopathic. I just fucking immediately brushed off always. So, but I
feel that.
I did go listen to a few of his songs like last week for the first time. I seen they were posting about there's like a new one with him and a Kung Fu Vampire and shit like that. I think.
The ROC, yeah, Villainous. That
Yeah.
song's so fucking good.
Yeah.
So, but I did one of his songs in my speech class. I did. I think Lost or something from the Shadow albums, and he's got kind of Joker's cards. He has the Oracles, and they're like metal rap hybrids. He does a lot of the music himself. He's a musician. He does guitar and stuff. It's all self-produced. He lives in an RV and he just travels across the country and he just makes music and runs his business. It's amazing.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, but he's got the Jackie O Beats albums where he'll take like mainstream beats and flip it into underground wicked shit. He's got the Oracles, which are like vibey different things. He's got like rock albums. He's got some wicked shit albums. He's got all sorts of stuff. So anybody who needs some new music, check out Low Key. And if nothing else, he makes some fucking sweet ass
Check that out.
and shit.
Yeah, I've seen some of the pictures on here. It looks like he's got some sick masks.
Yeah, that's very dope.
Yeah, so of all of like the underground rap music, I've gotten into a lot of it, but Low Key was like definitely the thing that has helped me. That's kind of like what we were talking about, like getting into like a rapper's mindset. He's got the Chameleotic album, which is more about his life and his personal stuff, and that like got me through like middle school and like my mental health, and also I'll put it on when I'm having a bad time. So
point is he's got some music with some substance.
He's extremely fucking talented. I wouldn't even call him a rapper, just a musician through and through. He can rap, he can sing, he can scream on a couple metal tracks. He makes most of his stuff. So yeah, I wanted to shout out Low Key because Low Key is my shit. As much as it's about ICP and all that, but yeah, Low Key's my dude. So
that's what's up, man.
Yeah, I'll check him out. I'll definitely check him out now.
Yeah, and that was I don't want to drone on too much, but what makes the underground different in general, especially these days with social media, is how many people can like go on Facebook or Instagram and shoot their favorite artist a message and be like, "Hey, your music means a lot to me," and have it be seen.
Yeah.
It's part of the community, right? Like he'll like do stuff with his fans, weekly question and answer sessions and stuff, or like I messaged him yesterday. I was like, "Hey man, your music means so much to me. Thank you." And he replied.
Oh, that's dope.
Even now with like Shaggy and the Creep Show, you're like, "Hey, yeah, I'll pay him for it," but it's like, "Hey, what's up, Shaggy?" And he'll he'll read it and go on tangent stuff. So like, the underground is different, and that's why it's definitely a vibe. It's definitely a community, in addition to all the great fucking music. So
yeah, man, we're all in it.
I think that's my piece.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, check out Loki. I listened to a few of his songs, and it was like what I heard was pretty decent. Like I maybe didn't pay enough attention to the lyrics, but I'll have to go back and listen to some of his shit, man. So hit me up, let me know, send me some songs to check out. I'll peep them. Like give me a beginner's crash course on Loki. I'll check them out.
Yeah, I can even send you some of the stuff that I started with. You can go from there if you.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks. Appreciate that. All right, Gage, we're going to let you go. We appreciate you hanging with us, man. You're cool as fuck.
Well, I hope to see you at the gathering.
Yes, we'll see you at the gathering. We will see you at the gathering.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Catch you later.
See you, bud.
Peace out.
All right. That was Gage Von Wyl.
Super cool.
Very cool.
Super fucking cool.